So the other day I was down the street at Morton's Bank and Loan when I ran into Tom. And y'all may know Tom. He owns Tip Top Tents and Toboggans in the downtown shopping district. It was lunchtime on a Friday, so yeah, we had a little bit of time to kill and a lot of time to catch up. And as we talked, I eventually asked him the question I ask every business owner: how's business going? And he kind of danced around the situation with a quick, it's not bad, but the long pause for a while, and then he said, could be better if I'm being honest. Yeah, things are a little tough. Now, I can only imagine. It is not like there's a stampede of consumers running through the door to buy tents and toboggans, even in the best of times, right? We took 2 steps forward and we kept chatting, and I finally said to him, you know what? You have a strong base of consumers. They have your back. They're there for good times, they're there for bad times. They've got you. And that base, they can be motivated to buy more and more often. And I could see the wheels turn, and he was processing it all. And just because Tom has what some people would say was a luxury item doesn't mean he couldn't be selling more. Now, Tom's first problem was no one's buying a new tent or toboggan every year or every 6 months, right? I mean, sure, you might upgrade every once in a while, but that is definitely not enough to keep the lights on and the rent paid. And that left Tom with only 2 options. Well, 3 options, actually. He had the internet, he had networking, and he had his social media marketing funnels. Well, and that's kind of the same as the internet, but you know what? I mean, he had word of mouth and all of that. And that left Tom with 3 options. He could work the internet, social media marketing, he could go to networking events, and he could motivate his consumers to get more word of mouth out there. Now, he's worked those 3 hard. That's his thing. He's really great in person. He is dynamic. He can sell face to face. However, the problem was those ways, they're not working very well anymore, and he wasn't getting the results that he needed, that he wanted, and he knew he could get. Now, I want to be clear here. Tom's problem was a lot bigger than just your typical slow season. What Tom was experiencing was deeper and a lot longer than that, and I'm sure all of us have felt it. See, for some reason, in the past couple of months, it feels like it's super slow for everybody, right? Everybody I talk to, they're like, this feels really weird. It doesn't feel like your normal slow season. And that's because it isn't. That's because we do feel like things are going slower because they actually are. Now, typically when times get tough, our first instinct as business owners is to throw ourselves 300% into selling. We double down, we work harder, we expect immediate results for all that work that we should have been doing all year long. And we hope that we get a quick bump in sales, one that will help us get over the hump that we're at, but more that it keeps us motivated, it keeps us going. We feel like, okay, we're making some headway, I can continue to do this. But like any good high, it's only temporary. It's eventually going to fade. And Tom, he needed to embrace a solution that had much more impact, that got him the results that he wanted, that he needed, but didn't take up all his time and resources. He didn't have time to be on the internet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week selling. He didn't have time to be going to every networking group out there. He didn't have time for all of that. He needed something quick, fast, and easy, like short sales videos. Now, as the line continued to meander, I asked him, have you ever thought about making short form sales videos? Like, you know, shorts, reels, TikToks. And as soon as I said the word TikTok, I could see on his face that I had lost him. That stuff's for the kids, not an adult professional. No one wants to see me dancing. Well, I'm gonna agree with you there, Tom. Nobody wants to see you dancing, especially not me. But he was wrong about the content. Sure, shorts, reels, and TikToks, they can be that. They can be people making idiots of themselves and assholes and dancing and all kinds of... But that's just a fraction of what they're able to do. They can work as a commercial for your business. A small commercial that will get people to notice you, get people to come in and buy, just like those local commercials back in the old days. Now, if you're a Gen Xer like me, you remember UHF channels, and you remember the wacky commercials that were on them, right? I mean, you probably can sing a good portion of the jingles. You probably can repeat the taglines. I don't want to put those earwigs in you at the moment, but we all know what they are. We all know how that works. Now, there is a glimpse of your business in there. They see you, they see who you are, they understand who they're working with, they build a deep personal connection through that content. It is a reflection for them of who you are and what you do. Now, if dancing works for your business, then by all means, freaking dance. Get out there, move it like there's no tomorrow. For me, nobody wants to see me dancing. Now, the line kept moving and we moved up a couple of more steps, and I said to him, now, with social media marketing, I find that there are 3 reasons people don't make content. There's 3, and they seem to be very consistent across everyone. The first one is fear of going viral. People are really afraid, like suddenly they're going to go viral. Well, that's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing if you do something really bad to get that virality. Like if you say something really weird or you do something really, but going viral isn't necessarily a bad thing. And spoiler alert, none of us are going viral. You're not making that kind of content. You are not going to go viral. Sure, you're going to get a couple of hundred hits, maybe 1,000 hits, but you are not going to get the millions of things and the massive amount of business that you think you're going to get. You will get business, but we're not talking about viral. The second one is usually, I don't have money or resources. And, I get that. I understand that as a small, self-employed business owner, our money goes to a lot of things, not necessarily always what we want it to. It needs to go to keeping the lights on and the rent on. But it doesn't take a lot of money to make content. All it takes is a phone. That's it. You can start making content on your phone for free. You don't need a lot of lights. You don't need a lot of equipment. You can make them outside in your backyard, in a park, wherever. You do not need a lot of money and resources to be making short form sales content. But the biggest problem, the biggest challenge most people have is, what do I say? What do I do? Now, as Tom moved up to the window, he walked away and he was like, I don't know what to do. It sounds interesting. And I said, Tom, what's stopping you? Which one of those is stopping you? Because whichever one, I have a solution to fix it.